there's some usable stuff in there. Oh, yes. Where's our save file? Yo, it's Arrow, and today we're going to be making some sick glitches in Reaper, just using the DAW itself, some stock plugins, and maybe a few third-party ones, but they're all going to be free plugins. So all things you can do basically the day you open up Reaper to make some really cool sound design stuff. There's going to be way more than 5 tips in here, so keep your eyes and ears open for all the bonuses, so you can keep track of how many tricks we learned during this video. I will also be going quite fast, so just know that there's shortcuts for a lot of the things I'm using. I'll do my best to remember to either show you or name them and type them on the screen for you afterwards. But without any other further ado, let's get started. All right, let's see what our first sample here is. Very unsuspicious regular piano loop. Alright, that's nice and pretty, but we want to make sick, trippy glitches out of it. Our first technique is what I like to call the split and shuffle. So you can divide any sample either by the transients, as I discussed in another video. You can check out my groove video for more on that. Or, even better, you can divide it arbitrarily, just based off of the grid size. And now I split it into a bunch of little pieces. And my favorite option that I've discovered in Reaper, it's like the only random, is reorder adjacent items randomly. So we're just going to take all these slices, we're going to press our shortcut, and now they're all jumbled up. And we get something kind of cool already. Okay, I could see myself chopping that up already, but let's say I want something even more aggressive, or rather I want to shape all of these fades in and fades out between all these little clips. So first I can remove the overlaps. There's a shortcut for that, and by holding Control and Alt and clicking on any of these, I can change all of the fades, right? Now it has a different feel to it. Let's say I don't like that fade shape. We can experiment with different fade shapes for different effects. Okay, let's say this is cool and all, and of course we can pick out different slices and delete them and reorder them to make whatever idea we have in our head, but that's just it's not glitchy enough. So another option, if we don't get rid of these fades, if I click the exact same shortcut of splitting at the grid, and then I press reorder, you'll notice we have these tiny little slices. And these tiny little slices are anywhere where the fades in and outs overlapped. And we actually get this really cool little clicking in between. Right, so you'll have to control that a little bit, maybe with like a limiter or what have you. But let's say this sounds, let's say we shuffle it a few times. Okay, let's say I like this. And I said, wow, that's really glitchy and cool. And maybe we add some flangers, whatever effects to make it sound even cooler, but it'd be really sick if all of these little clicks and stuff were in different spots, just pan differently every single time. But I don't have the patience to draw a pan envelope and doodle for all of these tiny little hits, and I don't want to do it on each of the clips. Like, how am I going to get that effect? It's a a real shame we can't do that automatically in Pro Tools. But in Reaper, we actually have a really cool plugin for this, and this is just something that just comes with your DAW. And it is called the Transient Driven Auto Pan. So basically, well, first, you should know you really just need the transmitter. I'm not even sure what the receiver does, to be honest with you. But if we throw this on, every single click, every single file here, if it's set to the right threshold, which you can change with the sensitivity here, usually it works at 5. Okay, now every single one of those clicks is in a different spot. Let's say I don't like how wide it goes. I don't want it to go super far from left to right. We can change the max pan, and now it just pans randomly within a little radius. All right, that's pretty cool now. And there's a ton of other little things you can change here. Let's say you want it to just be left or right. You can do it like that. It just pans hard between them randomly. That is a very, very useful glitch effect to have automatically. But let's say we want to glitch even more automatically. I wish there was just a plugin. I could go all the way back to my original audio file here. Actually, let me just make a copy. Let's say I'm back in my original audio file, and I want to just put something on it and have this glitch automatically. Of course, there's great granular effects and things like crystallizer, but something that Reaper gives you automatically that I haven't seen anyone else use is the Avocado. It is basically an automatic glitch generator. So let's listen when I just put it on the default. Okay, not super impressive yet, right? So let's turn the threshold up. I like the repeat. Let's change the reverse probability up. Oh, we're getting somewhere already. If there's more buffers, there's more chaos. I'm liking that already. But let's say it's too consistent now. Like, and after a while, this effect at the settings right now gets old. So I'm about to show you the most powerful tool in making a glitch, which is taking literally any parameter on any effect at all and creating an LFO for it. So this is the last touched one. I'm going to touch the buffer link. I'm going to press a button, and I'm going to set it to LFO. And the LFO has a random setting. So I'm going to show you as it goes. It is now just randomly changing the buffer length. And the buffer length is the most important part of this plugin here. So I'm going to change the speed so it's really random. And we're going to see what we get now. Not bad. And you might notice there's a little bit of an issue because when the buffer length goes wide, like too high, then there's a big pause in the middle. So all we have to do is change the strength down. And I think if I set it to positive, there we go. I think around like 300 is as much as you'll want to get something nice and consistent. So let's give this a try. Okay, that's something. I actually really like this effect in combination with a few other glitch tricks I'm about to show you. But before we do that, I'm also going to add one addition to our trick. So what I just did is a reverse option in Reaper, also just a nice fun action you automatically have. And let's do our original trick. And now there's a bunch of reverse slices to move into this shuffle. So when I do this and take a listen again now, I automatically have some reverses. And of course, if we don't like the sound of it yet. Like it's, oh, there's too much movement. We can just change the grid size. Try it again. I actually kind of like some of those, right? I would and do some of the other stuff you've already seen me do. But let's go back to our Avocado glitch generator real quick. We'll have our original audio slice once more. And now what we're going to do is make it cooler. So if you go to the item properties, and that's, I remember I couldn't find it, so you guys can find it a little bit easier. It's item properties, toggle show, and it's control I think by default. So if you open up that and you change the stretch mode, you can get really cool sounds. So step one, this is the technique I call the stretch and switch. I'm going to stretch this very, very long. Let's see what we get first. Okay, nothing impressive. It's just slow. You would probably expect something that's stretched out to change pitch as well. And there's actually a toggle switch for that. So let's try making it go down. And so you should also see what that is called. That is toggle take preserve pitch. So when you stretch it, it'll either save or change the pitch. Oh. We're gonna keep it here. I like this. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I wanted to give a more metallic sound. So just another random tip for random things that you get with Reaper. If you take the reverb and well, let's listen to it on its own. Yeah, it's just a reverb. But something about this one in particular just happens when you stack them to give this really cool metallic quality. Let's listen. Oh, that's pretty nice. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make some room just so I can flip this. I'm gonna take let's actually leave it as it is. And I'm going to turn on our glitch generator afterwards. So now we have these little metallic pieces that are going to be buffered randomly into our glitch generator. I'm going to put some reverbs afterwards. And maybe some sort of delay. Crystallizer works absolutely the best after that, but I promised only free plugins for today. It's a nice like background. Depending on how you change this is actually probably, it's way more powerful than this, honestly. Something I didn't show you as well is you can change, wait, let me make this up. Okay. You can also change pitch. If you turn it onto arpeggiator mode, it'll automatically like repitch the slices as well. You get really cool sounds and effects from that as well. And there's something else about this. I might make a video just about some of the other cool tricks you can do with this plugin. It's good for textures, especially in combination with like big reverbs and stuff. It becomes just an atmosphere. You don't even notice that it's separate things popping up because it's so smoothed out by the reverbs. Anyway, that was one cool sound we can make with it. But let's say I don't want that metallic sound from the reverbs, but I still want a big automatic atmosphere out of my sound. So we can go back to the properties and exactly where it is at. Let's just experiment with changing the stretch mode. And all this does is since our media file has been stretched, it reads it differently to get the effect of repitching. And every single one of these modes actually has a pretty different sound to it. But what we're going to talk about first is the RIA. This is a new thing, Reaper 6, and it just automatically makes your sound into a reverb when it's stretched. Let's take a listen. It's really nice. And I happen to have it. Let me think. And the more you stretch it, the more convincing this is. It sounds like a granular sort of stretching effect. It's nice to have in that tool bag, as well as using the reverbs. All right. I believe that'll be it for this sample. Let's get familiar with our other drum samples so I can show you some other techniques that are really good, along with more transient based stuff. All right, a very unassuming drum loop. You wouldn't expect to get a lot of wild sounds out of it, but we will. So first things first, we can do I'm going to split it at the transients. I'm not going to be super precise because I don't care too much. And the first one is just splitting it up. So sometimes I do this to come up with an idea. Let's say I took, even if it was I was resampling, like I saved a copy of what I got out of the glitch generator. I split out the transients and I can get some cool rhythmic ideas just by shuffling a few times using the shortcut we talked about earlier. Okay, that's not exciting. So what we're gonna do instead is first, cool. So we reversed it. Now we're going to split at the transients. Now we're gonna shuffle it, and we get some reverses in the between. There's something in there we could use. But without going too far down any rabbit holes, let's talk about the other options with these. So our new technique, our first new one, is just another version of the stretch and switch. So remember, you can always, by doing, I should also say, if you just hold the side of an audio clip and press Alt while you're holding it, that's how you do the stretch very easily, automatically. Remember, we can toggle if the pitch will change, or if it'll keep the pitch and just play it faster. For our purposes, if you really want to get good effects out of the stretch and switch, like switching the stretch modes, you want it to stay at the same pitch. So let's try sound pitch, sound touch, and see what it sounds like. Try another. I kind of like that one. And I honestly most prefer the stretch and switch on elongated transient sounds. So let's try a few of our different stretch modes here. Oh, my power went out. Are we still? Okay, I guess we're still here. let's experiment with a few different modes. Sound touch adds a lot of extra clicks in between. This one has more of like a flangey effect. And this one has like a pre-ringing sound of type of thing to it. Of course, the glitchier your original audio, the better these things work. So why don't we take all of our effects back on here, and we're going to use our resampling. Something really handy to know before I do this as well is I would like the pitch to modulate more, and I like more buffers. Something super handy to know, if I want to take this audio and then do more stuff with it, which is what we're about to do, there's a shortcut for that as well. For the time means you see people like making a separate track, and then you have to route it or set to record, and then you remind it which one it's recording from, blah, 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 blah. If you want to resample in Reaper, you just highlight a selection, select the track, and then press, and now we have it. And this is the audio with the effects on it. And I should show you what that is called. This one is render selected area, and it automatically mutes the original. I believe there's an option that doesn't do that, but this is actually usually quite handy. All right, let's listen to what we have. All right, let's start combining some of our. So I'm reversing it first, splitting somewhat arbitrarily, flipping them around a few times, and I'm gonna fade and see what we get. Yeah, to be quite honest with you, this is like the most disappointing session I've had, just using the exact same things. Let's go ahead and take this. I'm going to glue it as a WAV file. And then I'm going to use our stretch and switch with the audio I just got, which is hopefully going to give us something a little bit more exciting. So time to stretch it just as far as we feel like. I kind of like that it stops. So I'm gonna flip this again, and wait, let me keep it together. We'll try a few different repitch modes. Oh. There's some usable stuff in there. Okay, that's the type of stuff I was looking for. And we can also, remember, for any piece of audio, we can have like a pitch envelope that changes if I really like one slice. So what I might do, let's say I have, okay, I'm putting an effect on it just because. All right, I'm gonna save this using the shortcut I just showed you here. And now I'm gonna put a pitch envelope, because let's say I want it to go up high and then down low or whatever. that's a good one. We're saving that. Where's the save file? Right. And I can keep this. I can do other things with it. Like I want to do other variations, or let's say that that wasn't cool enough. I also want to do a pan envelope, and you can do this for individual takes, which is really cool. So you don't have to put a plugin to change the pitch on this one little glitch you have, or do that for the pan. So let's just listen to what this sounds like. And it's so wide that it's kind of hard to hear the pan. There you go. Cool. All fun things you can do with resampling. It just took all of them in combination this time. Anyway, let's do one more. We have more techniques to show you, all in this one random video with a grab bag of random things that may or may not be useful to you, which is my favorite type of thing. So there's more power to the dynamic split. We can also use stretch markers. So I can add stretch markers, and what they're usually for, you can use them just to change one part. You can slow down like the transient or the lower part. Maybe there's like a word in a vocal you want to last longer. You could use stretch markers for that. But what I like them for is to randomize them. And there's no, as far as I'm aware, I was not able to find an action that did this, even in Reapack. So I made one. If you find one from somebody else, you should probably use theirs. It's probably better than mine. But so you have it. And so you can see what it does. I just randomized the stretch marker. And now all these things are going to be changing in their duration for each hit. So wait, let's familiarize ourselves before we change it without the effects. Okay, we already got one because I changed it. Why don't we randomize them all and see what happens? Oh. Oh, that was sick. Okay, we have some already. The flanging effect. Some like sucking in effects. We can try it. Oh. Okay, let's make it cooler. Okay, all kinds of fun stuff you can do with that. Let's say that we don't like how much it's repitching. Remember, you have the option of just changing it to repitch on stretch or to not repitch on stretch. What I find is things like neurobasses and things with a lot of low frequency information, when they're stretched, they actually give you the really coolest effects on repitch. So we're bringing this down. It got stretched. It's now very, very low frequency. Let's hear it as it is. And that's cool. Why don't we combine it with our other technique of the stretch and switch? So now I'm going to switch the stretch mode and see what sort of sounds I get from it. To be honest, the original sounded better to me, but let's try another. Okay, there's some good ones, workable ones. We didn't have the best roll today, but I'm going to show you another technique. This is also from the shortcuts I have, the little actions I have. So first, let me show you what it's called. There's randomize, selected, take stretch markers, slopes, and positions. That's just the technical part of it. It just randomizes your stretch markers to make them cooler. And there's another one I made, which is this just basically changes the play rate of each stretch marker. So each individual hit, every transient, is just going to have a different length. Most of them should stay straight, but apparently I didn't do my action right. Most of them are. And we'll see what this sounds like. Oh, yes. Where's our save file? I'll throw that for later. Okay, let's say I really like that, because I really do. Okay, we saved it. I'm gonna flip it back. Okay, now it's flipped backwards. Now I'm gonna split it a ton. Now I'm gonna random, oop, forgot. You have to switch it to splitting again. Now I'm gonna flip it and see what happens. Oh. And I can see myself putting effects on each of these individually, right? Let's say I like this on its own is already sick. I'm gonna glue it, it's one thing now. I'm gonna put take effects on it. So only on this one, I'll put a flanger, right? I just like flangers. And the rest is normal, right? Or I could do a pitch envelope just for this one, right? And so on and so forth. Hey, me from the future here. Just wanted to add the tip. For any of the envelopes you put on a take, it's really helpful to glue it so you can save that as a resampled thing. So example. I want that to start lower. So what I can do is maybe I'm gonna make the pitch envelope last the whole thing. I'm just gonna bring it down an octave. And then I'm gonna do another pitch envelope and do the same shape. So just a fun tip. And you can also change the shapes on these as well to your liking. All right, back to the video. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna chop these up and edit them and maybe put them at the front of the video or whatever. Cool. I believe that's gone through all of the main ones. I hope you have some fun messing with them, but before you go, I'd like to give you a little bonus. Some other things you can mess with automating, like we saw with the Avocado glitch generator. There's two that I really like that just come with the DAW. There's Re-Voice, which actually does the stretch and shifting. Like you can switch the algorithm for repitching stuff. And it's just part of here, which is cool. And you can play it kind of like on a keyboard, and it'll try to make the sample that you're putting through match those. It gets really weird, so I'm not going to show you how to do it. Another one I'm not going to show you how to use is the lattice filter. This just does weird stuff as well. And if I show you how to use it, you won't be as creative with it as you could. So I'm just going to leave those for your glitch making pleasure and call it a day here. Make sure to like and subscribe, all the usual stuff if you'd like to hear and see more cool stuff in Reaper. And I hope you have a nice day. Stay cool, everyone.